Financial advisors and planners are always looking for help in taking their business to another level. But that's only possible if you're passionate about building your practice and have a plan to execute. Welcome to Your Practice, Your Passion with Wes Forster, CFP, registered financial planner and coach at The Perfect Practice. In this podcast, Wes provides insight from his 38 years of operating a successful financial planning practice to help you break through the ceiling you've hit and save you time and money, getting you and your practice to where you want to go. The results are an ultra-successful practice you can be proud of and few can compete against. Now, on to the show.
To say the markets are currently searching for direction may be a bit of an understatement. The bigger issue, though, may be the question, how are financial planners and advisors talking to their clients about the market's gyrations? How are you handling the situation? As your host, Wes Forster, says, are you excited or do you wish you were in witness protection? I love that line, Wes. What are advisors doing, or what should they be doing?
Yeah, and you know what? It's not about what they're doing so much as what they're not doing. So as we were discussing earlier, and we discussed a little bit, I think it was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, we had JP on our podcast for HSI Financial Group. It's the things that we're not doing, and it's the same that we talked about before. The way we're trained and we regurgitate this information is rhetoric. It's when markets are going sideways and or going down, and your clients are nervous and some are panicked, and we come back with the same explanation. It's long term. Oh, don't forget, it's long term. Or you're in the same boat as everybody else. Well, now if I came to you, and I often use this response, if your financial planner or anybody that's selling you something comes to you and tells you what it's going to be like, well, this will probably break. Are you going to buy it?
No.
This will probably crash. Are you going to buy it? You're in the same boat as everybody else. Are you going to jump into that boat?
Not if it's sinking.
Not if it's sinking. Hell no. It's the thing that it really gets my nerves. It gets on me. And I think we can change that. We don't have to be like everybody else. And we've got the skills. We got to decide for ourselves, are we going to be better than that? Do we really want to give the client what they deserve? And that's amazing service, an amazing plan, something they can rely on, something that they can hang their hat on and feel comfortable, go to bed at night and say, hey, whoever I'm working with did an amazing job for me. And they care. They're not going to use those old cliches. And this is what's happening both in Canada and the United States. It's all about fees, right? If you move your investments to somebody that is doing an amazing job, and you go back to the institution that wasn't doing such an amazing job, their excuse right away is, oh, but you'll be paying more fees. Like, yeah, okay, sure, I'm going to be paying more fees, but I'll be getting a job done for me. And as we talked about the other day with JP, the JP is an investment portfolio manager that we use at HSI.
It's a great episode, by the way. It was a great episode.
It was a good, yeah. That was an HSI episode, and yes. Of course, this is the perfect practice. But you can listen to both if you want to. But nonetheless, where people make their mistakes, where people lose their money, is not knowing how I should react in a situation when the perception is that things aren't going so well. So the markets are going down. And this is where you go into witness protection, because you run out of things to say to clients, and you haven't done. Maybe you've done some of it, but you haven't done all of it. It's all about getting better. It's a practice, and practicing. You practice to get better. So doctors have a practice, and they're practicing to get better. They're not God, but they keep working at it. They keep learning, and so on. That's what you're doing here. That's what the perfect practice is all about. It's about getting better quick though. Okay. But I want to bring you results. How do you get results? How do you deal with that client that's nervous? And it's not if or anything like that. It's when these things happen.
Right. And
the problem is we know that it's going to happen. I talked to some younger advisors that's only been in it for, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And they haven't seen any real devastating market crashes or even devastating corrections for that matter. So now they turn into the client. They turn into the consumer client. They start criticizing and throwing stones at the portfolio managers, the professional managers, when they're doing their best work at that point in time, but they don't understand it. So it's about educating themselves. You and I were talking about whose responsibility is it, and some would argue that it's on the client too. And I was sharing with you, there's an act in Alberta that suggests that it's a 50-50 responsibility, 50% on the advisor and 50% on the consumer, the client. And I would argue that. I would say, yeah, I think it's more on the advisor than it is on the client.
Well, I think it's on the advisor to explain perhaps more, but it is on the investor too, to do their fair share of research. Maybe, I don't think necessarily results are the only thing you should look at, but what are people saying? What attitude does this person have?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I can see, and I think this argument's used quite a bit in court too, when there are challenges when it comes to these things, and it doesn't hold that.
Hearsay, baby. You're talking hearsay.
Okay. So how does that client, that consumer, is at a disadvantage? It could be because of.
I got to jump in here too, because you're talking about younger advisors who haven't seen this type of market before.
Yeah, that too, but I see it with the older advisors as well. They do exactly the same thing. They repeat, Patrice, the same year over and over and over again. You've been at it. I've been at it for 20 years. You repeated the same. You're not practicing. You're not becoming better. You haven't figured out what should I be saying? And this is my bent. This is my crusade. I want to learn the kind of things that help the person to make an amazing or a great financial decision. Okay. And that I can go home and go to bed at night and say, you know what, I'm comfortable with what I said. And if they follow my recipe, they follow my design, I'm gonna get them to the promised land.
But investors should also learn as they're.
How much should they learn? You know what? You see, when I go to the doctor, I'm not going to study medicine.
No, but you learn. You've experienced the flu. You've experienced, hopefully not COVID, but maybe COVID, what those symptoms feel like.
Yeah, but not all doctors are built the same.
This is true.
And some can talk. Some are good talkers. And because they're doctors, you immediately believe them. So this is what we do as consumers. Okay, we immediately believe institutions because there's bricks and mortar surrounding them. We believe because they've been around for a long time. Doctors, this is the problem we've got, and what happens is they get exposed, and then the consumer flips out and says, we should have known more about this person, yada yada yada, and then well, you should have done more research. Well, you know what? We're at a disadvantage. We're not the regulator. We're not the College of Physicians and Surgeons. It's not. We came in with this trust factor. Imagine this. You walk into a doctor's office and they say to you, they look at you. Yeah, you look good, Patrice. You look like just about everybody else that walked in here today. Yeah, don't worry about it. You don't have any cancer. I've been doing this for 50 years, Patrice, and I know how to spot cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Or let's go a little step further. So they do a little bit of diagnosis. Whatever they do, hold your hand up in the air and you cough twice and you look good. Yeah, everything's good. Yeah, not so much. And you know what? I'll tell you what, unfortunately, it happens more so in Canada than the United States. And the reason why is because of our public health system. Everybody thinks it's so wonderful. It's not as wonderful because they're under cost constraints. Okay. I was in a little short story here. Probably nobody wants to hear this, but I'm going to tell it to you anyways. But I was down in Seattle. We were going to a concert down there. This goes back several years ago. And I got very, very, very ill. And I don't give up too easy. My wife said, "Oh my gosh, should I drive you to the hospital or doctor?" This was probably about 9:00 in the evening. And I said, No, I'm going to be fine. I'll be okay. 3:00 in the morning. I can't even hardly move. I have a hard time getting to the bathroom. And I said, "You better take me to the hospital." Okay. So we go to the hospital. And I've never been to a hospital in the United States before, but I went to the hospital and I went, holy cats, did these people take care of me? Yeah, it cost me some money. Darn right, it cost me some money. But I was really pleased with the results. Okay. They did the testing. They had people all over me. Like it was just holy cats, and I was in there for 8 hours and I got a staggering bill for it. And, but they came back, they brought me all the reports and all the tests back, and you felt like you were taken care of. Okay. You don't get that in Canada. All right. You got to ask for it. You got to beg for it, basically. All right. When your friends and people down in your country there, when they go on about how good it is in Canada with ours, it's not as good as you think it is. All right. They've even taken out in some provinces where you can't get regular medical checkups on an annual basis. They discourage it. Really? So imagine that though. Okay. So you go in, the doctor looks at you and they say to you, yeah, you're okay. You're looking good. And how do you know? Because I've done this for a long time. And they don't even talk about the long term. It's short term. Okay. You'll be here tomorrow. Now, there's a pretty good chance I will be here tomorrow. Okay. Now with your financial plan, on the other hand, it's a plan. Okay. It's looking forward. And so what have you done, Mr. Financial Planner, to look forward on my behalf? And then how can you validate that for me? How can you show me the blueprint? Show it to me. Okay. It's my blueprint. Okay. It's my diagnosis. Mm-hmm. Those are my blood tests. Those are my x-rays. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see the other guy that's healthy's x-rays and blood tests. Right? I don't care about the statistics. The statistics aren't going to save my life, for goodness sakes. Yeah. Okay. It might give me a little bit it might motivate me to do something. Like 90% of people who smoke are going to get lung cancer. Okay. So that might motivate me to stop smoking, but that still isn't me. I want it to be about me. I want you to do a plan for me. And knowing what I know about being in this industry, as long as I've been, I know what kind of questions to ask. I'm not at a disadvantage. I know what to look for. The consumer doesn't know what to look for. That's part of the book that I wrote, No, You Can. I talk about that. You're at a disadvantage. You don't know what to look for.
That's true.
You think the regulators are taking care of you. I'm sorry. But I personally think the regulators are on the wrong track. They want to regulate. They think that they're going to regulate people into submission almost, okay? They're not. No, they'll follow all the rules, but that doesn't get it done for the client. That doesn't get it done for the consumer. We're missing the point. So when the markets go sideways, what are you telling your clients? What are you doing to make them feel better and giving them assurances? Okay, I can look at it. Here's the plan. Here's your plan. Okay, this is your financial plan. It's not 60 pages long that means nothing. It's a bunch of boilerplate gibberish that you don't understand. This is very specifically about you. So, Mr. Client, what we did is, remember at the onset, we sat down with you. We did certain things with you to make sure that we captured all the information. We've got a process, Mr. Client. Okay, you remember that we have checklists. We make sure it's repeatable. We with those checklists, we're not missing things. Okay, we take it very seriously. We recorded all our conversations. Remember that? And so we know what you were concerned about. So we can't say, well, you didn't tell me that before. No, we got it. We're not going to use that excuse. Okay. We're not going into witness protection here. We're not going to hide from what we should know. We're doing a job. Now, doesn't that give you a sense doesn't that instill some confidence?
Definitely. But
right?
then the markets are going sideways. Okay,
so now we haven't finished. The story's long. So now I sit down with you and I say to you, okay, so now the markets are down 24. Markets are, let's even go further. Markets crashed. They're down 50%. And that's happened twice in the last, 20 years or so. They dropped 50%. Okay, the markets. Well, first of all, Mr. Client, we're not invested in the markets. We're invested in good quality companies. Okay. And we know those companies, and you know those companies, and you can go out and you can look at those companies and you can say, yeah, they're still doing business and they're still making money. Yeah, their share prices are down, but we know, but now's the time to do what's right. But I've got you, Mr. Financial Planner, it's making sure that those things are happening. So it might be with a portfolio manager. It might be because you're a stock picker. It's tough to be a stock picker and a financial planner, but you could be doing both. And Mr. Client, what I've done here, what we can see is that in your plan that we're going to sit down and look together, it's embedded in the plan that these things are going to happen. So let's look at that.
The Perfect Practice is the coaching organization that helps financial planners break through the ceiling they've hit and build a practice they're proud of and few can compete with, saving time and money.
That's planning. Okay. Everything else, history is good. It's good to see some of those things. Like we all bring out this as historical charts, and here's what happens, and this is what happened.
Something to learn from.
It's something. Yeah, you can. But you don't make all your decisions based on that. Okay. Because, although it's very similar, and nothing is exactly the same. But what we also learn from is the planning process too. What should we factor in? What should we embed into that plan? Because we don't have a crystal ball. So what should we embed into that plan so that we err on the side of caution? So we can share that with the client. We can show it to them. They can touch it. They can read it. It's not just, well, it's long term. No. You see, what we've done here when we created this plan for you, and we've got all these checks and balances, and we're not missing things. You see, it's funny. We had Ian Stevens on one of these calls here, and yesterday he spent quite a bit of time with me, and we went over to our airplane, and we didn't go for a spin around the cabbage patch. It cost a little too much money, but nonetheless, we went and jumped in the plane, and he's looking at it, and he says, "What is all this stuff?" And he's looking at the instrument panel. And so we went through and we talked about it for a while. Then I brought out the checklist. We talked about the checklist, and I said to him, I could probably recite 90% of that checklist to you. I said, but I would never do that if I was flying that airplane. Right. And I'm going to have a plan when I fly that airplane. Okay. I'm going to train like my life depended on it to make sure that I'm current, that I'm not rusty. And then you can say to yourself, okay, now this guy has done his job. So you're sitting down with somebody. Like, first of all, when you did your due diligence to begin with, you've interviewed several planners, not just one. You've interviewed several planners, comparing what they're going to do for you. Okay, don't be afraid. You see, this is the thing. This is the whole witness protection thing. You're afraid. You're concerned. You're running away. You go home. You want to, when things aren't going so well as a financial planner, all you want to do is go home, turn off all the lights, close the curtains, and hide in the corner. Okay, that's the feeling.
True.
That's the feeling. And a lot of businesses do that. I mean, that's business. The strong ones, the ones that succeed, have all these things in place. They have systems. They have procedures. They can talk to their client with confidence. I say, I'm excited about times like these. Okay. This is where we convert most of our prospects into clients. Seriously, they're running from this other stuff. Well, my guy doesn't do that for me. My guy doesn't do this for me. Now, it's good to talk about these things. Some people will say they're listening to this. Financial planners are listening to this saying, well, I do all those things. Do you do all of those things? It's rare. Mm-hmm. And when Ian was sitting in that airplane yesterday and I pulled out that checklist, he says, wait a minute, Wes, hold that open for a minute. He says, I want to take a picture of that because I want to share this with the people that we've been talking to about checklists. And what Wes talks about, it's not smoke and mirrors. He practices what he preaches, and I practice what I preach. My new favorite word is fastidious.
Fastidious?
Fastidious. Okay.
You don't mean fastidious?
Fastidious. Anal. I'm anal. Fastidious. That's my new favorite word. I haven't studied that one very long. I only came across it here just a few weeks ago, and I looked it up. And like I said to you, I was doing it at a seminar the other day. I said, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's what I want to be known as, not anal. I want to be.
Close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough.
But that is not what you would say as a planner, that it's close enough.
No, hell no. No. It's not. I call it the perfect practice. It's not perfect. We know that. Okay. We're in pursuit of perfection. Okay. I don't have all that's a $50 word. I don't have all the 50. I try to stick with the $10 words. Okay. Because I want everybody to understand what it is that what I'm trying to communicate, what I'm trying to, the message that I'm trying to deliver here. So you're sitting down with that client, that consumer, the prospect, whatever it might be, and I've got this plan that I can show them in detail how it's going to go, how it's going to be executed, how we're going to communicate with you. Okay, that's the other thing that falls apart is communication. I'm talking to my other coaching clients, and this is what we're on, because this is the conversations that we're having right now with current coaching clients. Is they're experiencing this now, some of them for the first time, some of them it's the second or third time, and that type of thing. What do I do? Well, what a lot of them are doing is the same thing that all the other so-called financial planners and advisors and investment counselors and everything else are doing too. We're all in the same boat. It's long term. Well, that doesn't do it. Now, of course, the consumer, they've heard it for so long. This is why they're off looking for cheaper fees. Like, if you're not going to do it, why am I paying you big fees? I might as well just go to the cheaper one. See, that's why this is why you're worried. This is why you're concerned about losing your business to these lower fee organizations, Net Wealth and all these other different ones. And gosh, I can't think of all of them, but there's a lot of them out there. And I don't blame the consumer for doing that. I mean, I'm not getting nothing over here, and I know I'm not going to get anything over there either. They're not offering to do anything. They're not offering to do a financial plan. So you're on your own. Right? Now you're on your own 100%, not just 50%. But you know what? We can do much better as an industry. There are ways to do it. We don't experience that at HSI Financial Group. And we convey that message that we're excited about this. The opportunities are wow. Okay. We put a program together, and you can repeat it over and over and over again. Yes, it's work. Here's what's really disturbing when I talk to some people that come and listen to me, and they'll say, well, I don't want to work that hard. Once again, are you telling your prospective client that? I don't care what industry it's in. Your doctor's saying, well, I don't want to work that hard. Really?
Wes, talk to me about the pride you take good financial planner too, especially in a time like this. You have laid the groundwork. You can proudly go to your clients and say, don't worry.
Yeah.
We've done this.
And don't worry, and here's why.
Yes.
It's not just don't worry.
That's right.
Don't worry, you don't have cancer. How do you know I don't have cancer? Because I did all this. This is what we did. Okay. It's embedded in the financial plan. It's there. So you can rest on that. And here it is. Okay. There it is. I will validate everything that I talk about. That's what I've been doing for years with our clients. And it's a good feeling when somebody does get to retire and they get to experience all their lifetime dreams and all that kind of good stuff. And they're living their ideal lifestyle of retirement, or even they're leading up to it. And leading up to it, and you see some big breakthroughs, and you were part of those breakthroughs. Okay. That's what I get a charge of. Seeing people, they say, yeah, nobody told me this before. Nobody told me that before. Nobody looked into that for me. Who should have done that for me, Wes? I could think of a lot of people that you relied on that you thought were going to do it. Yes, he is a very good accountant. He does amazing work when it comes to preparing your taxes and picking things out once in a while about tax planning. But he didn't catch that. Yes, that lawyer they're an amazing law firm that did my estate plan, but they didn't do this and this and this. Yeah, exactly. That's why what we do is we create a team. And I'm big on the teams when I'm coaching when I'm working with coaching clients. I'm big on teams, but having the teams knowing exactly what they're supposed to do, having a process. It's not just, I see other coaching companies, they have their, it's loosey goosey. This is what this person's supposed to be doing. This is what this person is supposed to be doing. Ours is detailed. This is exactly what this person is supposed to be doing. Okay. These are the calls they're supposed to be answering. Here's how they need to answer them. If you're a financial planner, do a financial plan. Make sure that your staff know exactly what you're doing. See, when we hire people at HSI, everybody that we hire has a financial plan, gets a financial plan completed for them. I mean, how can you tell our prospects, if you work for HSI, for example, what exactly we do and how you're going to benefit from it? So whether you're 25 years old or you're 55 years old, how can you tell them? You can't. Okay.
What can an advisor or financial planner who's out there who knows they're not working to their potential because of their environment, their firm, whatever, what can they do to go to the next level?
That's a good one. Well, they can do, there's so many things that they need to do. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk them through it. And it's not going to be done overnight. It's not going to be done in an 8-hour session. It takes time. Okay. So it's your education. How are you educated? It's your systems. What do your systems look like? Are they in place? Like, for example, your CRM, your client relationship management system. What does it look like? And how do you use it? It's one thing to have it, but how do you use it? You got the tools in the toolbox. That's wonderful. That does not make you electrical contractor because you got tools in your toolbox. It doesn't make you a plumber because you got tools in the toolbox. You got to know how to use those tools. All right. So we're gonna teach you how to use the tools. You've heard of the tools. You've seen the tools. You've used some of them. You've practiced some of the things that we've talked about. You're successful to a certain degree. Okay. And some people become satisfied. Okay. I'm just not one of those people.
And I'm sure there are people out there who are not.
A lot of them are, but they also don't know. They think, oh, that's going to be a lot of work. And in fact, once you get these things all in place, it's everybody, the team and you, it's not as much stress and pressure because you know exactly what you need to do. How do you execute? It's not, well, every day you come in and you wonder what you're going to do with this and what you're going to do with this. How are you going to solve that problem? How are you going to solve? You already know it's there. So it's the same thing for your client. They have the question, they're concerned, they know who to phone. They phone you and, oh, somebody answered the phone, right? Wasn't voicemail. You're not on witness protection. You're there to come in and answer their questions. So you need to know that. And so it's the same thing I'm saying that you need to do for your client, the consumer client. HSI does those things for us. So we've got that experience, but the perfect practice is going to teach you how to do that too. So we're going to teach you how to execute. And that's the big thing. And you slowly just go, it's a wow factor. I'm telling you, it's a wow factor. I mean, I know, how do I know that? You talk to the people that I'm coaching already and they're over the moon.
We've had a few of them on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And they're literally over the moon. People that I've talked to that understand what we're talking about here. But you know what's really important is that they want to do it. They have a desire to do it. They care, right? Now, as I said to them, on a go forward basis, they're the kind of people that I would send my mother to. Okay. I'm not going to send my mother to the person that doesn't want to put the time in. That it's going to be, oh, that's going to be a lot of work. Yeah, you're right. I mean, do you want your doctor to say that? No, going to school is going to be a lot of work. Doing my residency, oh, that's going to be a lot of work.
Well, how can those advisors who want to go that extra step, how do they reach you?
How do they reach us? So they're gonna call me directly at 250-215-2322 or go to our website, and it's the perfectpractice.net. Okay. And you can email me at wes@theperfectpractice.net. So go through those, and you know what? Another thing I want to mention too is that if you go to our website, we don't hold anything back. That's not a bait and switch thing going on here. So we're going to tell you exactly how much it's going to cost to do this coaching program. And to some folks, that don't know how to invest in your company, they look at the price and they go, well, that's a lot of money. Let's think about that for a minute. It is a lot of money. And I think some folks get scared. Well, you know what? You talk to some of these guys that are coaching clients now, they thought about it the same way, but they took the step. And I have a lot of respect for them because we talk about investing in your company. Mm-hmm. If you don't invest in your company, don't expect any returns from your investment. You invest $0, you get $0 return. They're seeing double and triple their investment back again in a very short period of time. Not everybody can experience it, as they always say in the implement. Not everybody can experience that. No, it depends on how much effort you put into it. You follow the recipe, and I'll tell you what, you are going to get the results, and it will pay for itself over and over and over again. So much so, I'm saying to these guys, so we have different groups. So this one group, I said to them that are getting close now to their anniversary, a 1-year anniversary, are you going to renew your coaching agreement? And all of them are absolutely 100%. They're going out and referring other coaching clients to us. And I think good on them, because one thing that we say to them, don't share everything that we do with the world. First of all, it's proprietary, it's confidential. You paid for that information, how to do this. But they are saying to their colleagues, they're saying, you should talk to this guy at the Perfect Practice. It made a big difference in my practice. And of course, now they're being noticed too. Okay. And it's a respectful thing. So when you go to the website, you look at the pricing, we can talk about discounts. There's some discounts that we do offer. I'm not overly generous with those discounts because I know there's full value in what we're doing for you. Full value. You're going to get more than you bargained for. And it's going to take a long time. It's going to take some work. And what I mean by a long time, it's going to take several months. And that's just the first step. Imagine I've been at it for 38 years. Most of the progress that I've made is probably in the last 15 or 20. Okay. And with my team too, the staff that I have, is it takes a while to build that team. So don't be discouraged when you look at that. Let's talk about it. Let's validate it. Okay. It's an investment. There's going to be a return, but it's not a 10% return. It's 100%. It's 200% returns. And I think that's worth talking about. Okay. And I think the first step is making a call. Mm-hmm. That's the first step. Looking into it, even talking to some of the other coaching clients. I think that's a possibility too. And we would make that available for you to do too. So what do we do today? I think we get out of our house and go to our office and hold our head up high and say, I'm going to make a difference.
Invest in this podcast to get the latest show. Follow. That's all you have to do. And share with friends, family, and colleagues. And Wes is right there. He'll answer any of your questions. Give him a call. I'm Patrice Sikora, and let's talk again later.
Thank you for listening to Your Practice, Your Passion, the show for financial planners who are passionate about taking their practice to another level. If you have any questions about topics covered during the show, visit theperfectpractice.net. Email Wes at wes@theperfectpractice.net or give him a call at 250-215-2322. Don't forget to click the follow button below to be notified when new episodes become available.